Hey, it's Mark Lanier with your video thought for the day. I'm famished. I got to get back to Cleveland, but frankly, I think I'm going to starve to death if I don't eat before I go back. So I thought this is a great week to do spiritual disciplines in our video thoughts for the day. I thought this day I'd start out with fasting. Yeah. Fasting. When I say start out with fasting, I didn't mean I'm fasting. I meant I would talk about fasting. Fasting is an interesting idea, and we read about it in the Bible. And a lot of people are wondering what it is, and should we do it, and when should we do it? Now, it's fascinating because there are times in the Bible where fasting is talked about, not so much as a religious observance, but just people are so upset they can't eat. You'll see Hannah fasting when she's so upset in the Old Testament she can't eat because people are mocking her and her barrenness. You'll see Jonathan fasting when he's just so ticked off at his dad because of the way his dad's treating David. You'll find anger fasts, frustration fasts, and things like that. But that's a little bit different than the biblical kind of fasting that comprises a spiritual discipline that you and I might want to consider how to put into our lives. The spiritual fasting you'll find in different places. You'll find David fasting when his child that was born of Bathsheba as a result of the adulterous relationship they had, when that child is born and going to die, it looks like, David fasts and hopes that his penitence before God would stir God's heart and maybe spare the life of the child. You'll see John the Baptist taught his followers to fast as a showing of repentance and humbling oneself before God. In Isaiah 58, it talks about how people are fasting, but they're fasting to show off to God. Not a cool thing. The godly fast is one that comes out of a humility. It comes out of a recognition that God is greater than what we're about. And that we humble ourselves and show ourselves needy to God, including needy from a food perspective. I found fasting is also something that not only needs to show our heart to God of needing Him, but fasting is a marvelous tool for focusing on prayer. Because one thing I've learned is when I'm hungry, I'm hungry. And it's really hard to get it out of my brain. So if I decide not to eat because I'm going to dedicate that time and energy to prayer, that hunger that's driving the fasting is a hunger that drives my prayer and causes me to focus and to pray more. So fasting's got some marvelous things. Now, in the New Testament times, at that point in time, the Jews would fast 2 days a week. And so they would fast, I think it was Monday and Wednesday, if I recall correctly, because by the 100s, the early church was fasting on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And generally, a fast would be a daytime fast. So from the time the sun rises till the time the sun sets. You can find people who have found meaning in fasting not only for that period of time or for a 24-hour period of time or for a meal even. Or some people have fasted from one specific kind of food or one specific kind of fill in the blank. I found a time in my life where I thought I really wanted to focus on trying to discern God's will in a really difficult situation. And I decided I would try to fast for 40 days from any unnecessary secular influence. What did I mean by that? I tried not to listen to secular music. I tried not to watch secular TV. I tried not to let myself be influenced by anything unnecessary that was secular, and instead to spend that time studying and praying and meditating. All to say, fasting has a wonderful usefulness, but don't ever fast out of a desire to show others or to show off. Jesus spoke right after the Lord's Prayer about people who fast and they do it and disfigure their face so that they can tell everybody, oh, I'm fasting. And those people, he say, get their reward right there. If we're fasting, we need to fast to ourselves for God in humility, showing our neediness upon Him and with a focus on prayer. And that's a beneficial fast, whether you do it for a meal, for a day, or longer. More spiritual disciplines this week, but that's sure short on fasting. Your video thought for the day. I got to find something to eat.